Hi, happy Sunday, and welcome to another episode of the Tranquil Cottage Knits podcast. This is officially episode number 5, although there are 2 little mini episodes, one on the poll and one on the Commit to Knit challenge. So feel free to check those out, but officially, this is episode number 5. I don't have an episode titled yet, so we're going to see if anything completely and utterly random flies out of my mouth today, and maybe we'll get a show title from that. My name is Michelle. I am your host, and you can find me on Ravelry at Tranquil Cottage and on Instagram as Tranquil Cottage Knits. You can also see show notes and read the blog at www.tranquilcottageknits.weebly.com. I don't know why that's always such a mouthful to get out. So, how are you guys? I hope you've had a good week. I have been out here trying to record for about an hour, and a squirrel just popped up around the corner, so Tucker's about to go insane. And the barking hasn't started yet, but it will. Give him a minute. Told ya. So, this week, oh my goodness, the Tranquil Cottage has not been so tranquil. Worked a lot. I worked yesterday. It was really it's kind of been hectic. But have you ever had one of those meant to be moments, right place, right time, and everything just kind of falls into place? I had one of those yesterday, and it was just so awesome. I want to share it with you. So I worked yesterday, and as I was leaving work, I was driving down, behind my work, there's like a back road, and there's some companies back there, but if those companies aren't open, then there's like no traffic whatsoever. And so I'm driving back there, and I see a police officer cruiser, cop car, pulled over on the shoulder, a little crooked, and the door just sitting wide open. And so I listen to a lot of crime podcasts, especially on missing persons. For example, I like Vanished. What was the other one I've been really listening to a lot? I do Unsolved Murders, True Crime Stories. That's a podcast. And then I also listen to, I might actually be out. Oh, Already Gone. I like that as well. So I listen to a lot of, missing, mysterious things happen to somebody. Where could they possibly be? This person has vanished. Be on the lookout for this person, that person. So I guess that makes me a little wary, especially because I've been listening to them a lot at work. And so here I am pulling up on this police cruiser, and it's pulled over to the side, doors open, and I'm thinking, did somebody lure this poor officer out of his car? Is he safe? Did something happen? So I'm coming up really slowly, trying to look into the car to see if he's in there. Of course, thinking the worst because, listen to 24/7 crime podcasts lately. And I see this big, burly, muscular, tall, shaved head, gruff-looking officer holding this teeny tiny little kitten. And I mean, immediately, heart warmed. And so I pull up, and I was like, I just want to make sure you're okay. And he's like, and holds up this kitten. And so I said, oh, can I see? And so I pulled around and told him, not a creeper. I just saw your car door open. I want to make sure you were safe. He's like, well, no, I really appreciate that, but I'm trying to decide, what to do. And he goes, I hate just taking this little guy over to the shelter, but, well, this happened about 30 seconds literally after I left work. So I turned the corner, went up the street, saw him. I said, well, I have a coworker who's been looking for a kitten for his family because their cats passed away. And he's like, oh. I said, let me go call him right now. So I ran back to work, checked to see if he was still there. My coworker had already gone. So I called him immediately and turned around, went back to the officer, and my coworker called me just as I was pulling back up behind the officer. And my coworker's like, that's awesome. Can you meet me, at the gas station up the street? So he's like, I'll leave right now. So my coworker left his house immediately. The cop handed the kitten over to me, and I drove like the 2 minutes over to the gas station. My coworker was so excited to get this kitten. And like he called me just like not even half an hour later, told me the kitten had already had his first bath, and they checked him over really good. They were trying to figure out a name for him, and the kitten, sad to say, the kitten was eating a better dinner than I did last night. So officer happened to be in the right place at the right time, sees this tiny little kitten sitting in the street, picks it up. I happened to be in the right spot at the right time, passed by the officer, and my coworker happened to be right up the street, and a kitten has a home. It was wonderful, but this was like the most precious, tiny, tiny little kitten. I think he's maybe 4 weeks old, but there were no other kittens around. There was no mama around. So see if you guys can see this. You see this tiny little baby? Oh my gosh, he was so precious. So I'm just the way it worked out was just, it was perfect. And it, honestly, that totally made my workday absolutely worth it yesterday. Just to have that happen and have everything just fall into line like that was just lovely. So that's my feel-good moment for the week. Also, while unpacking some stuff, my husband and I have been in our house about a year, but I am still unpacking stuff from my mom's house when my mom had passed away and we cleared out her house. All of that stuff came into my master bedroom and our garage, which are still literally filled floor to ceiling with boxes, because when we moved into our house, I had just had major surgery and wasn't allowed to lift anything. By the time I was allowed to lift anything, I was back at work full time. So I still... I'm trying to unpack boxes here and there, decide what we keep, what we don't keep. I was so excited. I came upon this box from my room at my mom's, and I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but you want to talk about kicking it old school? This is my Ravelry t-shirt from when Ravelry very first started. The little button on the back of the neck here says Ravelry Beta. Does that tell you how old school? And see, this says, where my stitches at. I had not seen this shirt in years. And quite frankly, when I bought it originally, I bought it to support Ravelry, but I was too heavy to fit into the shirt. So, no, plenty of room. Big, comfortable shirt. But I am just, kicking it old school. Ravelry Beta, yo. So, let me get another squirt here. Because we have had a cold snap, the bugs are now relentless. Callie's already gone 3 rounds this morning with the winged bitey beasts, also known as the bumblebee nest in the yard. She goes over, she sticks her snout in it. The bee comes out to defend its turf. She says, what is this thing flying in my face? And she tries to eat it. And then bumblebees don't lose their stinger when they sting, so they can sting repeatedly. So it's like, sting, sting, sting. And she yelps, and she spits it out, and she shakes her head. And then she runs away, and it flies around her head. And she says, oh, what is this? I must eat it. And she tries to eat it, and it stings her again. And she runs away. And then she comes back and she sticks her snout in the nest. She is smart in so many ways, but that is not one of them. You would think if sticking my snout in this nest results in me getting owies all over, then I should maybe probably kind of not do it. But no! I'm looking at her as she's sitting there just kind of looking at me, panting with her swollen cheek. It's a good thing that I know that she's been stung enough from doing this that, she doesn't have a reaction or anything. She just swells up for about an hour and then it goes away. But my goodness. I do want to, since it is summer, I do want to put a little plug out here for this product that I've been using. Being around the dogs, I really worry about chemicals and things like that. We also have cats, and cat systems can be very, very sensitive to poisons and chemicals and things. So there's this company that is local, and they're called Simply Pure. And let's see, www.simplypureproducts.com. But they have this stuff called Bug Me Not. It is a DEET-free natural insect repellent, and it has, purified water, natural grain alcohol, neem oil, citronella, java essential oil, geranium essential oil, lemongrass essential oil, lavender essential oil, and potassium sorbate. This is what the label looks like. Let's see their web address down there, hopefully. But they said that they even spray. I happened upon them on a local festival. It was Front Royal Family. I think it was Front Royal Family Fun Day, and tents just lined the whole town. And all these small businesses come out and they put up their tents, and got some amazing fudge that day too. But when I found this, I said, well, let me try it. And they were having a deal, so I got 2 bottles of it. And since I started using this outside, I will spray my feet. And I'll do it a couple of times. But I spray my feet. No more mosquito bites on my ankles. And I just really love this stuff. So this is my favorite thing right now. And if you have a yard that is full of bugs and winged bitey beasts, then maybe you should try them too. So, Simply Pure Bug Me Not. That is like my new favorite thing. So, I suppose it's on to knitting and spinning. I started to record a podcast, and I don't think I actually went through with it. But I was very, very frustrated with Edith, my spinning wheel. I switched to a jumbo flyer, and jumbo bobbins because when plying, I was just really running out of space on bobbins. Well, ever since then, my on the end where you have the whirl, that fits into the, I want to call it a grommet. It's not a grommet. The bearing that's on the maiden. When that sits down in there, the extra weight is actually making the end of the flyer where the whirl is jump that bit on the maiden. So I get like 3 revolutions of the wheel and pop. And then the drive band, and so it's been so frustrating to me. My husband 3D printed me a new one at a different angle. So I'm really excited. We've got some chores to do today, but I'm really excited to try my new bearing on the wheel and see if I can successfully ply this fiber that I've been trying to ply. It's really kind of breaking my heart because I have saved this bobbin for a year because I spun it so carefully and wanted it to. I just had this vision of how the yarn was going to turn out, and the flyer jumped the bearing so many times that it's a mess. I'm so disappointed. So, and go to Rhinebeck this year, I will be sure to get another braid of that fiber, maybe 2 braids of that fiber, and try again. But I was so frustrated with that problem with the wheel. And I had all these plans for Tour de Fleece. I had joined Knit Spin Farms group and completely unsuccessful because I can't ply anything on my wheel, and I need to ply things to get them off the bobbin so that I have free bobbins to spin, and none of it worked out. So I am a complete Tour de Fleece failure this year. So sad. The Commit to Knit Challenge is working beautifully. I am coming down the sleeves, or not the sleeves, the neck section. Coming down these, which is the shoulder parts for this. So just working on that, and I always make it a point to do 30 minutes of this before I'm allowed to work on my what I would consider my candy knit. It's just kind of mindless. The pattern doesn't require a lot of attention. It's a lot of garter stitch, and so my Drachenfels is my candy pattern right now, and that is right here. Because I do knit on this one at work for my lunch breaks, this one has gotten some traction, and I am on the Stripey Rose, and so that's where she's sitting right now. Looks like I have a misstep there. I may have to drop down and investigate that one more. But, so that's, I didn't see that until I held it up. So that's my Drachenfels. And, I'm trying to think of what I want to do for my next project, because Drachenfels will be finished, I'm hoping this week, that I'll be able to get some good knitting time. One of the chores we have today is a bit of a road trip my husband and I have to go on. So we're going to go up to Cumberland, Maryland today and pick up some items from his grandfather. So I'm going to ask my husband to drive. He'll drive for me, but I'm going to have him drive. That way I can spend the trip knitting. And hopefully, I'll get some traction on that too. So Drachenfels will get some more love on the road today. But I've also been sketching out a new pattern that I want to do. That is a shawl pattern. The problem is how I'm envisioning it, I don't have the yarn for it. So what I do have is several skeins of fingering weight that I can dye up in whatever colors I choose. So that's what I think I'm going to be doing. And so once I get that yarn in the dye pot and come up with something I love, then I'll be able to kind of put what's going through my head officially down to paper. So that would be great. Other than that, knitting group is going strong. It is a lovely day. It's a lovely day to drive up to Cumberland. Nice, peaceful country drive. And it's a beautiful Sunday. It's a beautiful day to be alive. So, just to do a quick recap, slight progress in knitting, 0 progress in spinning, but 1 kitten has a hem. So, it's been a good week. How's your week been? Go ahead and post in the Ravelry group. That's Tranquil Cottage Knits on Ravelry, or post on the blog or on the YouTube video and tell me how your week's gone. I'd love to hear from you. Have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you next Sunday. Bye.